A volume entitled The History of the Forgotten Kingdoms was recently returned to the library. Unfortunately, it immediately burst into flames and rewrote itself as a cookbook. This sort of thing tends to happen wherever the Phoenix Librarian is involved. Explorer, I think we better find this librarian. Hi there, Sally from Rickety Snippets here, aka Myrtle Mudfoot, reporting from Quest Headquarters. Welcome back to Chapter 7 of our quest to find the Forgotten Kingdom. Last week we ventured into the old woodland and met the Memory Weaver, who keeps forgotten memories stitched into her magical cloak. But today the mapmaker is sending us to the library. So the mapmaker says it's the Phoenix Librarian's duty to preserve the history of the Old Kingdom, which is rather difficult when the history keeps rewriting itself. So we might have a rather frustrated librarian on our hands. So this week we're going to create this page for the Phoenix Librarian, and we're going to be creating this rather ordinary looking book, which actually opens up into an entire library. So these are our pages. So 4 pages to print out, and we've got all the bits that we need for our pop-up book, and we've got lots of bits of ephemera from the library. And of course we've got our mapmaker's letter and our little bit of map, and a burning book. If you've only just discovered us, it's not too late to join us. All of the Explorer packs for the entire quest are free, so just follow the link in the description to sign up and you can begin the expedition from chapter 1. So I've printed these 2 pages that have the bits for the book onto 160 GSM cardstock, so very lightweight cardstock, and then I've printed the other 2 pages onto 120 GSM paper, and this piece I've left blank on the back, but these 3 pieces I've printed the map from chapter 1 on the back of those, just so that they're not white, and I'm just going to start by cutting it all out. Okay, so I'm going to start by folding this piece in half, and I'm actually going to score down between the 2 pages here, just so that I get that fold in the right place. So just doing it by eye where I think that fold should go. Just down there. And then I'm just going to fold it over that, and then grab the journal, and then I'm just going to put glue over the whole thing and stick it all down to the page. So I think the best way to do that is to put a little glue into the gutter first of all. And then I'm going to put glue on this a page at a time and then stick them to the journal. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to start on this page. I've been very divided about this. Didn't know whether to make a bit of a tuck out of this beautiful feather with the phoenix in it, or whether to use this as a pocket. I think I'm going to actually settle on this as a pocket, and it's a kind of ex libris from the Phoenix's library. So I'm just going to stick that to the bottom of the page. Like that, and then I think I'm going to use one of these as a kind of mini pocket above that first one, like this one. Quiet please, the books are rewriting themselves. Well, the books are rewriting, perhaps that one. Make that a pocket too. And then if we put stuff in the big pocket, then it will be kind of hiding around there. I like that idea. Let's tuck a little bits inside, like that. And then I'm going to get the mapmaker's letter and fold it in half. And I'm going to use the wax seal. So I've got a wax seal of a phoenix on there. And I'm going to stick that to the corner. And I'm just going to put glue just kind of around the edges at the top. That. Stick it down. And then I think that will become quite a nice secure tuck. And I can tuck this bit in, which is from the library catalogue about the history of the Forgotten Kingdom. And how many times it's rewritten itself. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that in there, and then that can just go into that pocket. Like that. There's all these little bits to discover from the library. And then these feathers can just stick in there too. And then for this page, we need to do some scoring. So grab these pieces. And this first one, I'm just going to score down the centre here. You probably could just fold this one in half, actually. Sometimes it gives you a nicer line if you score. This one I'm going to leave for the minute. And then these, so all of these need to be done in the same way. Let me see if I've got one where you can see the lines a bit better. Not really, maybe this one. So there's a line here that runs down the centre here and then down the side of this tab. So I'm going to score all the way along that in one swoop. Like that. And then there's a line here. So I'm just going to score along there too. And I'm going to make another score line, which is actually not marked on here because I think it would ruin it a bit. But I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to match it or line it up with this corner here and this one in the center here. Okay. So when you're holding it like this, it's this piece on the left. So, and then from that top corner to this corner, we're lining the ruler up. But we're not scoring this piece itself. We're scoring here along this kind of triangular piece with the curved edge. So just along the middle there. So that will find just the center point of that. Okay. So I'm going to do that for all of these pieces now. Okay, so before we continue exploring the library and make up our magical little book, let's gather around the campfire for this week's Quest Camp Bulletin. Firstly, a warm welcome to our newbies, Min the Wandering Wanderer, Marchioness Mabel Mossy Muff, Wrinkly Muggins, Moustache, Mossy Fern and Raven Rosethorn. In other news this week, explorer Beatrix Puddlejumper reports that the rabbit hole detection and classification device has undergone some rigorous testing by the Feline Expedition Division under the supervision of Winston Gray. Photo evidence provided. Testing has confirmed that the device is irresistibly spinny. The mapmaker has now added feline resistance testing to the equipment approval process. He remains cautiously pessimistic. There have been sightings of dragons in the Forgotten Garden. Dana Sandra Anodia spotted dancing dragons among the spinning flowers, while Squirrel Knight reports that he witnessed the birth of a baby dragon there. The mapmaker has advised all explorers to remain calm, as the dragons are reportedly very shy. He has also advised against carrying fire chews in your pockets. And finally, several explorers have reported something rather more troubling: missing memories. A number of important moments appear to have vanished, and some explorers are concerned that the memory weaver may have stitched them away somewhere. The mapmaker has approached her about his own missing memories, but with centuries of memories to catalogue, The memory weaver was keen to point out that misplaced spectacles and missing biscuits are rather beneath her notice. And we've had some lovely reports arrive from the Wish Whisperers post office and from explorers who've been wandering through the Forgotten Gardens. So let's take a look at them. Thanks so much, everyone, for your reports. Absolutely love to see what you're making and to hear about your adventures. So let's crack on with our magical book. So we need to fold some of these pages, all of these pages. So I'm going to start by folding this in half. So I want to make sure that I've got this really well lined up. So I'm just going to line it up at the top there and fold it down, and then give it a good sweep with the bone folder. And then I'm going to fold along this line, like that. And then so we folded that one up, then we're going to fold the next one down, so that line that goes right down the middle there. And then finally we're going to fold this little flap back up again, like that. Okay, so I'll just show you that again on one of the others. Okay, so folding this one in half, just making sure we've got a good connection. Sweep it with the bone folder. Open it up. Fold down this bottom line, or up like that. And then into that middle line. And then finally folding the flap up like that. So I'm going to do the same for these two pieces. Okay, and then I need a little bit of glue on this flap here. And then I'm going to stick this flap to the back of this page. Like that, and then just lay it down, run your finger along the flap from this side. And then I'm just going to poke that fold there so that this little bit folds inwards like that. Okay, and then right, when I folded it down, that feels a bit like it's misaligned, so I can stick that tab down. So you just want to make sure it's going to lie flat like that. It's also okay when you open it up, so that's fine. And then so I'm going to do the same for these three pieces. Okay, so once we've done that, we want to stack all these bits on top of each other. So we want to stack them so that all of the folds are in the same place and all of the tabs are in the same place. I've got the tab facing upwards here, and I want to do that for all of them. So I'm going to put glue all the way around this piece. There we are, so it's got glue all over it. And then I'm going to stick this bit on the top. And again, with the tab facing upwards and the spines aligned, or the folds aligned. Just stack that so that they're all sitting really well on top of each other. And then I'm going to do that with the other two bits until we've got a stack of all four. Once they're all stacked up, we want to put some more glue on this top one, and we want to get really good coverage, especially down the side, this side here, which is where all the folds are. So that's our spine, so we want to go right up to that edge, all the way along, and then just glue all over this piece. And I'm going to get the book cover, and then, oh no, hold on, before I do that, I need a little bit of ribbon. So on the edge opposite the folds, I'm just going to stick that ribbon down like that, so it's just on that edge, and then put a bit more glue on top of the ribbon. And then I'm going to stick the cover on, so I'm going to stick that down so those edges all line up. And then flip it over, and then I'm just going to put some more glue on this side, so right along that spine again. All the way around. And then I'm going to get another bit of ribbon and stick that down in the same sort of place as the one on the front, and put some more glue on top of that. And then fold this one over. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to just dry a little bit and then turn my attention to this bit. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to put glue all over this bit as well, and then just stick it together. And then I'm going to grab my hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole right in the centre here at the bottom. Actually, you might make a mark on it. Sometimes I find I go a bit off piste with this. I can't see where I'm putting it. So I just put a dot there. And then punch the hole. That, and then I'm going to put a little eyelet in there. So I'm just going to stick that into our journal. So I'm going to, on the back here, I'm just going to put a line of glue right at the top here. So a nice decent line of glue. And then stick that to the top of the page there. Like that. And then I'm going to leave that to dry for a bit while we have a look at our little book. So we have a very ordinary looking book here called The Unfinished History. But when we open it up, oh, it is not ordinary at all. It is an entire library. And it looks a very cozy kind of a library. We've got trees growing out of the walls here and a little fireplace. We've got the Phoenix Librarian perched up here in the rafters. Lots of little reading nooks to sit and read all these magical books. I wonder what other books the Phoenix Librarian keeps hidden away. What would you like to discover amongst his books? I think I'd like to find the diary of someone who lived in the Forgotten Kingdom, and then maybe every time I finished it and it burst into flames, I get a new diary to read. Perhaps all of our Guardians' diaries. That would be exciting. So what would you hope to find? Let me know in the comments what book you'd like to find in his library. So let's put our little book in the journal. It should be stuck now, is it? Not very stuck. It's probably secure enough. Anyway, so I'm going to tie a knot to keep the book shut. A little bit shut. And then I'm going to put an end through that hole we made there. And then tie another knot. Yeah, tie another knot. And a little bow. Like that. Maybe a bit long. I'll decide how long I want that later, I think. There we are, and then it can just swish about inside there. There we are. So we've met the Phoenix Librarian. So let's add his little emblem to our expedition log. So there he is, looking rather fine. So I'll put some glue on the back of there. Stick him in. And stick the map in the fairy backpack. Have we got anything to run past the rabbit hole detector this week? Well, I did notice something rather odd in the library. Every time I put a book back on the shelf, it seemed to move. But maybe I just put it back in the wrong place. I don't know. Let's see. Let's run it past the rabbit hole detection device. It's not a very good spin, is it? Let's see if we can get it going. No. All right then. Hidden door. Make a note. Future you has an irritating habit of appearing unexpectedly clever. Oh, I like the sound of that. The detector has spoken. So we'll tuck that back in there. So the Phoenix Librarian's given us another piece of the Kingdom's story, and though I'm not entirely convinced that we've been given the original version. And we have only 2 guardians left to find now. So we're getting close. Have a great week of adventuring. Let me know what you discover along the way, and I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, let's welcome all our new explorers. Bye for now.